On your website, Mike Shoen for Congress, the restoring economic prosperity through new manufacturing. So what's the problem? What kind of action steps would you take?
Big businesses want to get a favorable treatment by the federal government. And so some of them are getting it and some of them aren't. One of them that's not getting it is new manufacturing. Government has to work with businesses so that they can make a dollar, make a product that's a good product for everyone, and help our country. And so instead of having a relationship between business and industry of antipathy, and instead of the two being opponents, we have to learn to work together. A good example of this question of fundamental research is that the University of Arizona recently announced that it's developed the technology to convert heat into electricity, and heat of the type that you would have in the motor of an automobile. So what they're doing is through fundamental research they've created and may create almost an entire industry. And that is to take the heat from an automobile engine, charging a battery that in turn runs the motor in a hybrid car. Fundamental research can do when it scores for a whole economy. It can give you a whole new industry. Look at business as a partner, and in turn, business cannot look at the government and cannot look at its customers as someone to pull a fast one on or someone to cheat. You have to have an honest relationship and work together. And the starting place for that is to, in your head, have the idea that you can do it, and to jawbone that and tell people that's what we've got to do, because we really don't have any other great choice to stop the slide that we're in now. And we are in a slide for the middle class. We're not in a slide for the super rich. The super rich are doing pretty good. And we're not in a slide for the very poor, because they're still poor, but we're creating more working poor, and that is not right.
So what kind of action steps to correct this travesty?
Be to explain to people the objective we have to become a country that is acquiring wealth through new manufacturing. We'd have to look at what we can do with research and development investment tax credits. We'd have to look what we can do to encourage businesses that can create products. And not only conventional manufacturing, hard manufacturing, but soft manufacturing, and also service type industries that have what is essentially a manufactured product, like some medical services are essentially manufactured products where people will come from all over the world to our country to get these, what is essentially a product, but we also call it a service. I'd do that. But to be able to provide these new manufactured products and services that have are in the nature of a product, we have to have people who are capable of doing it. That means education. So we'd have to do things to get a really good educational system. We've, I think, largely failed in primary and secondary public education. So I don't think the answer is throwing more money at it. I think it's what I mentioned earlier, which is allowing the public education system to compete with some private education so they can learn how to do a good job, because there's, I'm telling you, plenty of private educational institutions that do a great job, and that's a fact. I'm sorry to say, but it's true, and I'm trying to tell you the truth. In this city, everybody wants to send their kid to Brophy for high school, and there's a reason, because you get an excellent education. And the same is true in cities throughout the United States. There's places, there's schools, private schools, that the people who can want to put their kid through there because they know that kid is really going to have an education. Well, we ought to try and make that opportunity available to a lot more people, not just the super rich or the connected. So those are some things that I can do as a congressperson.